Hello everypony, Prince Alagorn of Aquilonia here, and today I am reviewing the new episode, Rarity Takes Manehattan. To start with, I want to briefly address the point Texrax made in his review. I hadn't thought about it, but he brings up a good point about this season. This is a new beginning for these characters. So far, we've defined those characters by their element of harmony, but they have given up the elements. So now how do we know who they are? Have they changed, or do they still embody said elements? And if so, how do they respond to situations that test those elements? According to Tex, the answer is to break the characters down, show us them at their lowest points, and then build them back up, showing that even at those low points, yes, they are still the elements. I hadn't noticed that as a theme, but it's pretty clear now. Princess Twilight Sparkle. Twilight is filled with doubt about herself, but still comes through as a leader, showing a greater magic than literal magic by making a sacrifice for the greater good. Fight to the Finish isn't Rainbow at her low point, but it demonstrates her as the element of loyalty by coming to Scoots' aid when she's at her lowest. Power Pony Spike demonstrates that he can in fact be useful and even save the day. And here, Rarity finds her generosity taken advantage of and learns that you shouldn't change who you are in those events. Very astute observation, Tex. Also, I hope Blue Star is right and the ending isn't just another ending gag, but it might in fact be our very first key. I don't mind the keys not being actual literal keys. I like them being something else that turns out to be a key later. And actually that might help these ending gags by maybe we've already seen all the keys and we just haven't realized it yet. Now it's a detective game. Good job if that's what it turns out to be. Bad job if that's what it doesn't turn out to be. Anyways, on to what I liked. First of all, part of me always finds it funny just how pussy-whipped Spike is. The little guy isn't hopelessly in love. He just plain completely loses all sense of shame whenever Rarity is around. I also like Suri. She's a believable character. One could argue that she's what Flim and Flam wanted to be. The type of shady business pony that will literally shake your hand while knifing you in the back. It's clear somewhere in there was a nice small-town girl with aspirations that found herself jaded by the big city and the competitive nature of the fashion industry. She's completely unlikable, but part of me wants to like her because I can see who she really was. We also get to be shown that generosity can be a double-edged sword. It's both something very good to have because the intangible rewards are very pleasing in the long run, both in terms of your sense of satisfaction in doing good and for other people returning your generosity later. But it's something that can be easily taken advantage of. That's a valuable lesson to learn in itself. Now, while I do find it hilarious that why do I find it hilarious that Rarity keeps an old spinning wheel with her? Is she fucking Rumpelstiltskin or something? She does have maybe the best singing voice of any of the characters, and that's no different here. Also, please tell me I'm not the only one that noticed hoity-toity photo finish and sapphire shores in the audience during the fashion show. Now see, that's a nice continuity nod that's not crammed down your throat. I'm glad Rarity realized just how bad she treated her friends all on her own. I also found the moment between AJ and Dashie to be incredibly funny. AJ was just so damn blunt. And to actually be called out on it by the one character possibly more blunt than her was just entertaining as hell. Finally, good on Coco for helping set things right. Of course, we also have a bit of an inverse side, as always. If it wasn't clear before, even if I understand narratively why it's there, I really don't like seeing the main six hurt each other. Whether it's two of them bitching non-stop, AJ and Rarity and Look Before You Sleep, publicly embarrassing the others and calling them worthless, Flutters in Putting Her Hoof Down, intimidating one member of the group into a cowering wreck, Bats, or taking advantage of another member of the group, suited for success, bats, and hair, I just plain find it squirm-inducing to watch. Speaking of taking advantage of others, while it's humorous to see Spike be completely whipped, Rarity knows how Spike feels for her and is old enough to fucking know better. And continuing on that same train, it's both funny and pathetic to see Dot Mauve Rarity rear her head in canon. I mean, she turns the others into basically a sweatshop just to try to assuage her broken ego. Not that the others didn't respond with some selfishness of their own that they could have apologized for, but Rarity was not just selfish, but absolutely brutal here. Between the aforementioned sweatshop and the whole trying to guilt trip her friends into being okay, being worked like dogs for no tangible personal benefit. Next, while I love Rarity's singing voice, the songs this episode were just kinda meh. Musically they were good, but they feel like the two Rarity songs we already have. And the lyrics just were clunky to me. Then, AJ Clone! Kill it! Kill it with fire! And also, did I mention that we're in Manehattan, but Babs and the Manehattan CMC branch are nowhere to be found? AJ, you don't want to visit her or any of your other Manehattan family while you're here at all? Really? Really now? And finally, the whole trying to get a taxi scene. Hey, folks, you do see that the purple unicorn with the wings is there, right? That means she's your crown fucking princess. While normally I like that Twi being a princess hasn't been whacked over our heads constantly like we're taking a caning in a Singapore prison, in situations like this, the lack of its mention unnerves me. For once, I'd just like to see Twi bring the fact up to her advantage, and if Pony still tried to tell her no, be all like, by royal decree, I order you to stand aside. This is an emergency situation, and if you do not obey the orders of your princess, bzz, randomly turns the pony into a piece of fruit, I will fuck up your life irreparably. Am I fucking understood? I mean, Twilight has no problems playing God already, so it wouldn't be too out of character for her at this point. All in all, I really like this episode. And I don't just mean that I was entertained even though it's riddled with flaws, like so many episodes this season, but that I genuinely enjoyed this. The characterizations were spot on. Even the bitchy scenes, it didn't feel as cringeworthy as the last episode where we saw everyone dogpile on Flutters. And here it felt like more genuine reasons were being given for everyone acting the way they did. Rarity had her fabric and design stolen. She's on a deadline and she wants to make sure she's ready ASAP. Yeah, she's gonna be a nerve-wracked little psycho. Meanwhile, the others feel overworked, tired, unfed, and had their promised night out of entertainment stolen from them in Rarity's desperate bid to succeed. So I can understand them being a little bit of selfish pricks. Manehattan is a nice change of pace from Ponyville or Canterlot, of course. Yay for world building. And the moral was very nicely done. Dave Polsky seems to want to do things beyond random slapstick this season, and the gods bless him for it. While Daring Don't I found too ridiculous of a premise to get behind, this was done pretty much right. Polsky, you can in fact do drama. Bravo. Props to you, my man. A very enjoyable episode that I give a solid 4 stars to. Tune in next week, where we learn if the pies are related to the apples, and I sure hope the fuck they are, because the serendipity of it all, while painfully obvious, just seems like something that has to be taken advantage of. Until then, Prince Salagorna saying bye. Hello, everyone.